The manhwa begins as a man mentions that he fell in love with Grace, and he's sorry but he would like for her to break off the engagement as soon as possible. He calls her Salonia. She's fiancée of Ian Chervil, the only daughter of Duke Basin. She seems confused as he continues that he did not want to say it to her who has just woken up, but he wants to hurry up with his marriage to Grace. Salonia ponders what did she just hear. She has no idea what he means by breaking off the engagement all of a sudden. She wonders who is Grace. She has no idea what on earth happened during the months she was asleep. Salonia entered the novel out of nowhere, and it's already been 9 months since she lived as Salonia. The male protagonist of the novel and her fiancé, Ian Chervil, requested to break off the engagement. The novel about surviving the Demon King. It was an ordinary romantic fantasy novel in which she was possessed. It was a novel about defeating the devil, literally the strongest villain in the novel. The contents of the original work are as follows. The person she possessed was Salonia Bethan. She was one of the Empire's new healers and the novel's female protagonist. And her fiancé, the male protagonist of this novel, was Ian Chervil. The two people who were in arranged marriage did not have any progress in their relationship, and did not have any particular affection for each other. When the relationship between the two was sluggish while going on an ordinary date, suddenly the Demon King was resurrected. With the appearance of the fearsome Demon King, the Empire formed an elite unit to subdue the Demon King. Ian Chervil, leader of the Imperial Palace's Monk and Fire Knights, as well as Salonia, was willing to go along for the peace. Other submasters include the Paladin, Ray of Hetzel, and there was another sub-male protagonist, Meg Ryan, who inherited dragon blood. Both Rayev and Meg Ryan loved the heroine Salonia, but it was during this time of extermination that the Salonians realized their true love for each other. As they watched, Rajev and Meg could only stare without being able to make love. They were simply dedicated to helping Salonia. They genuinely wanted her to be happy, so the four of them should have joined forces to defeat the devil. Then the female lead and the male lead pledge their love and get married. The novel should have ended like this, up to the point of defeating the demon. The story is exactly the same as the original, but someday on the way home, she fell ill for unknown reasons and spent the next 3 months in bed. The words that came out of her fiancé's mouth as soon as she woke up were breaking off the engagement. He tells her to not worry since the alimony will be paid. He continues that if she understands, he wishes to finish it quickly. She hopes it's a little less difficult for him because it's better for her to be sick than for the young lady to be sick. She knows that participating in something dangerous like a lynch mob immediately after being possessed, relying on Ian for distinctions, got her through the tough times. Even though he was not really her fiancé, she never thought it would end like this. He tells her she is not a miserable person, so as she keep going to drag it up. She can see an expression of boredom that she has not seen in the past 6 months. She clenches her fists, as she thinks it really seems like the person she is has been completely erased from him. She decides to break off the engagement, although it was not originally her place. But if he is a man who demands to break off the engagement with his fiancée who came from the dead without even asking her how she is doing, it's a speck on her hand. She mentions that instead she will receive whatever alimony she wants, so he should just wait until she asks. She knows that does not mean she will let it go on like this. Since he betrayed her, she will take away the most precious thing from him. He remains quiet before he tells her that he was not aware she was this greedy. She apologizes because he did not know. He questions, can he at least leave a pledge? She ponders he is speaking in an annoying tone, and he has no intention of respecting her till the end. She cannot believe she trusted a man who only did this. She knows it made the time they believed in each other as they passed through life and death meaningless. She knows this is her true self and thinks it's good she found out sooner because people like him won't have any influence on her life. He writes the pledge and hands it to her as he questions if she is satisfied now. She ponders if he means satisfaction. The time she spent with him was organized with just one piece of paper, and he is telling her about satisfaction. He tells her it's over as he decides to leave, but he calls out to him and mentions she would like to mention one more thing. He asks her what else does she wants to say. She ponders she cannot let it go like this. She asks him if he can come closer since it's the last time. He approaches her for the last handshake before she makes a fist and punches him so strongly that he is in confusion about what just happened. He yells, "What is she doing?" before she questions what did he do, and asks him does he really think she could shake hands politely. She replies of course she could not since he is a rude person. She mentions that he has done enough and she deserves to hit him, right? She questions could it be that he takes out his anger on something like this and he is not a narrow-minded person, is he? He responds that is enough and she does not have to come to his wedding. She says goodbye to him and mentions she will not see him off. He leaves as she sits still on her bed before she curses him, as she mentions to herself that for the first time she thought it would be a family. Before coming into the novel, she used to live alone without family and friends. She fell ill and died at an early age. Since she had no body to return to anyway, she wanted to continue living as Salonia. She liked this place where she had family, friends, and lovers who loved her. But she realizes she does not have a lover anymore. She thinks about the heroine of the novel and wonders how many people would live as a duke's daughter. She decides to not dwell on the past. She knows it is okay if she does not have a lover since her precious friends are still by her side. Precious friends who shared their lives on the front lines, crossing the line between life and death. Aside from being the sub-male protagonist of the original work, they are irreplaceable people who are precious to her. A few days ago she thought so. Salonia is speechless as Rave questions if she is alright. She tries to act calm and questions what did he just say to her. He responds that he is sorry to say this, but he wants to take the knightly oath he made to her. He mentions that he is going to protect Miss Grace Bennet from now on and he will make an eternal vow. Salonia ponders ever the remaining friends change their minds. She wonders who the hell is Miss Grace. She thinks about the things they both said and wonders if this is a dream. She knows first annulment request from fiancé Ian and then withdrawal of life Rave's pledge to protect her for a lifetime. She knows she pinched her cheeks hard enough to bring tears to her eyes, and only then did she realize that all of this is not a dream. Rave nervously questions if she is okay. She ponders that if someone were to ask her if Ian ever loved her, then the answer would be no. She knows it does not matter that he is a kind and gentle protagonist, since Salonia and her are separate individuals. On the contrary, that she is not Salonia. She is mentally accepting that they left her contrary to the original content. She mentions that the time they spend together must not have been created for nothing. He is confused as he questions what did she say, but she responds it is nothing. She thinks it is true that it is disappointing when the same thing happens repeatedly, but there is no reason for her to get angry just because Rave revoked the oath of the night he pledged. However, as a friend, she should probably tell the truth, right? She calls out to him and mentions she also wants to support him, but Grace Bennet will soon become Ian's fiancé. He is speechless as she ponders. It must be shocking she never received a response, even when he vowed love to her. Rave mentions that he cannot stop his feelings for Grace and it is okay if he just watches from behind. She finds this situation similar as she realizes this is the same confession he made to her before. As he mentions, he just wants to serve Lady Grace. She knows she does not feel betrayed or hurt. It is his choice, no matter who he chooses. Moreover, unlike Ian, his change of heart is not just a passing fancy, but she knows he is the first friend she made since she possessed this body. For him to come like this and confess his feelings, their connection ends here and they won't be able to see each other privately from now on. She is aware that is the meaning it holds and she cannot help but feel upset. He again apologizes to her before she mentions there is nothing for him to apologize for, it is only his feelings. But no matter how much she thinks about the situations, she wonders how did both Ian and Rave end up having feelings for Grace. She wonders if it is really just a simple coincidence. She knows asking him probably won't be of any use. She thanks him for everything up until now. She continues that the feelings he gave for her and all the time they spent together, it means a lot to her. She stands up as she extends her hand and mentions she hopes that he is happy. He says goodbye as he leaves and she ponders. With this, it seems like the connection with him has come to an end. What on earth happened during that time? She was possessed. She knows something must have happened. Ever since she was suddenly possessed until defeating the Demon King and returning, she is sure she followed the original story exactly. The deviation from the original story suddenly before mentioning it was during the journey back after defeating the Demon King that she suddenly became possessed. She wandered through life for a whole 3 months without knowing what was happening. During that time, the male protagonists fell in love with one woman and betrayed her. She realizes something and mentions if they're talking about the male protagonist, there is still one left. Meg Ryan approaches her as he mentions he finally found her. She wonders why now, of all times, is he here. He tells her that he wants it back. There is someone that he wants to give it to other than her. She probably knows who it will go to. She questions the person who he is talking about wanting to give it to. Is it Grace Bennet? He suddenly becomes shocked as the questions how did she know and did she happen to investigate him? She is speechless as she realizes the male protagonists have fallen in love and it is within the character who did not even have a single line in the original work. It is an extra character. In the flashback, Salonia had tripped on the edge of the cliff. She had pondered that it could not be happening and questioned if she was really going to die like this, so pointlessly. Meg Ryan had called out to her and told her to stay still. He would save her. He changed his appearance and saved her. Afterward, she mentioned that she thought she was going to die. She thanked him for saving her before he started to shake her and questioned if she was crazy. And why did she climb that steep cliff? He was full of worry, as he mentioned it was dangerous and she almost died. She explained it was just that there was a silkia flower. It was a flower that was highly effective in healing and considered very precious to adventurers. In the original novel, there were no problems when she caught this flower, but she wondered why did the cliff collapse when she stepped on it then. Meg Ryan apologized for getting angry and mentioned he was just so surprised to see her falling. He told her that human life is so weak and easily broken, and it is short and fragile. He took out something and mentioned, unlike him, a transcendental being. She, a weak human, needed it. It was the one and only in the world, the heart she was satisfied with. Back in the present he questions what is she doing. He again repeats that she should give him the heart back. She sighs as she wonders, even him now. He asks her, but how did she know about Grace and questions, is it true that she was really sick from 3 months? She asks him, is that the first thing he should say to someone who just woke up? He thinks about it and questions is her body okay? She tells him that she will give him his heart back. He questions if she is truly okay and he did not mean to just come like this. She tells him that she understands and questions should they continue their conversation. Salonia asks her personal maid, Ella, to bring a jewelry box from her safe. She asks him if he will not ask why before wondering why would there be reason for that, and she actually wanted to ask. But she is scared of the truth being revealed. She is afraid that all of their past actions were just a shell to proceed as in the original novel. The events that have happened in half a year, she is so confused if it is really what she experienced. He questions his heart has been kept in the safe all this time and she responds yes, she cannot lose it, since it is precious to her. He feels a bit nervous before he tries to mention something but Ella appears with the safe. She hands the jewelry box which has the heart of the last dragon of the empire, as befitting the dragon's heart that has the legion of protecting its owner. Since she possessed this, she has never been injured. She ponders the reason she could not wake up for 3 months. There must be a reason. She stands up and thanks Meg Ryan for always protecting her. She knows it is thanks to Meg that she is alive like this. She tells him to be careful with it and she will not see him off. Later she sighs as Ella mentions she must be really upset. Salonia tells her maid that imagine if she made a dish with ingredients she had to work hard to find, even risking her life, and someone just ate it all up. She questions Ella would be so angry, right? Salonia mentions she is not just upset, she is furious. She was dragged into a subjugation squad as soon as she was possessed, so she had no human relationships other than her colleagues and she had to work hard in a hellish place. And now she was finally going to live like a human. She questions did she just turn her efforts into bubbles overnight? She suddenly stands up and asks Ella to ask the finest guild for information on Grace Bennett. She knows she cannot let it go. She asks her to find out if Grace Bennett has had any noticeable behavior recently, or if her speech or behavior has suddenly changed. Ella asks Salonia, how does she feel right now? Ella mentions that she does not seem to have any energy lately. Salonia ponders that actually, when she fell asleep a little while ago, she had a dream about going out to defeat the devil. On a day when it rained heavily and hiking was difficult, she was walking behind, lost her balance on the muddy dirt road and fell. When she fell, all 3 people held out their hands to her, no matter who was first. Revi told her that the land is rough, so she should hold his hand. Meg questioned if she would like him to carry her. Ian asked her to hold his hand. She took Ian's hand of course since he was her fiancé. They held hands and walked together. She felt Rayev and Megrian behind her as they bitterly withdrew their hands, but she thought that she could not reciprocate their feelings, so she should not give them any room, so she did not look behind. But now she knows it is all over and she thought it was a faded memory. She tells Ella that it is okay and she just had some old dreams. She asks her about her father. Ella responds that the Duke a while ago questioned that why did Salonia skip dinner, and ordered to prepare a delicious meal for her as he started making a fuss about it. The Duke of Galloway Bethine, it is said that he poured all his love into his daughter after the death of his beloved wife. But actually, he was a loving father who cared for and loved his family. By the time she was possessed, Salonia had already decided to join the subjugation group, but her father had tried to dissuade her. Just as no parent can beat a child, in the end, she followed her stubbornness. Though when she returned, her daughter has lost consciousness and would not wake up. From what she heard from Ella, he had visited famous doctors, healers and priests all over the country. In the end, the Duke was in despair when he saw his daughter, who could not wake up. After waiting for several months, she woke up and found herself in this world that she had never seen before. It was the first time she felt her father's love. She ponders, even if she just gives a meal once in a while, she gets scolded like this. While ago Ella asked her to please wake up because the Duke said he'd starve when he knew she hadn't had dinner. Salonia became surprised and rushed downstairs. She knows when it comes to his daughter, he really can do everything. She thinks about the marriage that even the emperor had to be very off. In the end it did not work out. Ella informs her that it is all done. Salonia thanks her, words that she resembles her mother who was highly praised in social circles, or a face that is praised for being even more beautiful. She looks in the mirror and ponders. Indeed, she looks like a female protagonist. She knows, thanks to her father giving her magic potions every day, she barely lost any muscle power despite being bedridden for months. She tells Ella to let's go, and father must be waiting. While they are eating, her father questions that he heard that she requested information about that woman from the final guild. He asks if his daughter has any regrets about that guy. He is the Duke of Bethine, as he mentions. Then he will tell the Duke of Cherville. Salonia stops him and tells him absolutely not. She mentioned that he should not get her wrong. She ponders. As expected, Finest contacted her father. Finest, the largest information guild in the Flanagan Empire. It is one of the businesses run by the Bethan family. Information is power and money. It is an organization that was established during the time of the first head of the family, according to the creed of the Bethine family that continues to support the Britton family to this day. She knows until now she has not felt the need for it, but it is really helpful when she is trying to get authentic information that has not been manipulated. Her father mentions that if she has feelings, but it is for the sake of the family reputation. But she responds there is something she really wants to check. She tells him that Rayev and Megrian were there today, continues that by some coincidence, it seems like these two also fell in love with Lady Bennet. She mentions if it is the right timing or not. She was just curious and wanted to find out the cause of all this, the change of friends' heart who thought they were true friends. Now it has become something that she cannot ignore. She ponders if their feelings towards her were just for the sake of the progressions. The original work then wonders what about her heart. She thinks if Grace was suspicious, that is why they changed. And if it was not suspicious, then people's hearts are just change. Or maybe she just wants to be reassured that this whole situation is not her fault. She tells her dad to not worry. She adds, whatever it is, if it is true, then he will find out soon enough. She is sure there is a reason and a truth she missed. Elsewhere, Ian mentions that it is a good thing he finished the work quickly and now they can go on a date even a day earlier. He asks her if she likes the scenery and what does she think. It seems to be Grace Bennet. As she looks into his eyes, they are having a quality time together as he questions if there is a place she wants to go to. She responds that she wants to go to the pastry cook that ladies recommended for her. Ian questions, where is it? She responds that it is in Robling. He ponders, of course it is Salonia's favorite dessert shop, with an irritated expression. Grace calls out to him before he mentions it is a remote area. It is not even famous, and questions what about the new Breguet. He heard that the interior is very colorful and pretty. She hugs him as she mentioned she would love to go to Robland and see it. He tells her that Robland is a bit far away, so they should go to somewhere else today. She holds his hand and questions, by any chance did he go there with Salonia? She mentions he's probably afraid it will bring back his memories with Salonia, that is why he does not want to go with her. He responds that is not like this before she pulls out her hands and mentions never mind. He mentions that he still does not have time to intervene and tells her she is mistaken. He was just worried that it would be difficult for her if the distance was too far away. She leaves as he yells if she wants then they should go there right now, and Salonia is not even in his mind. She turns around and questions if he is saying true. He responds of course. She is the only one for him and that woman has nothing to do with him anymore. She holds his hand and mentions she believes what he says is sincere as he swears. She smiles and mentions that they should go to Roblang right now. He orders the butler to hurry up and bring the carriage. A man gives out newspapers as a couple read it. It's written that Princess Salonia Bethine, who was in love, suffered the pain of a broken heart. On the other hand, Salonia finds it ridiculous. She questions what is this ridiculous article about. She ponders cheating is stupid and she has been through all sorts of hardship for 9 months now. It is her first time living like a princess. She mentions she is so happy. She finds it the best, as well as thrilling. She knows this is the life of a fancy city. The adventure journey was always accompanied by realistic hardships that were not expressed in the original work. Her whole body sleeps on the dirt floor, take a shower in a cold pond, and there are days when she makes a meal out of dry bread. She ponders, if she is possessed like this, she doesn't want to do it again. No matter how bad her situation is, this is the first time experiencing the life of a princess, so wonders why she's staying away. She knows she is only going to work on the flower path from now on. And then there was some unexpected news. Ella mentions that she heard His Majesty is having a celebration. It is a victory ceremony. After defeating the Demon King, a victory ceremony was held for the saviors, hosted by the Emperor, and of course Ian, Rayev and Megrian all participated. She could not participate because she collapsed for unknown reasons. She guesses she could not participate in the victory ceremony, and mentions it seems like Ella was considerate of her. Ella mentions, of course, their lady is very kind. Ella questions have they seen the things being said in the newspaper without even knowing that. She questions how they can write an article without probably checking the facts. She thinks it is happening more now because the young lady stays still. Salonia questions if that is what Ella thinks. While Salonia is staying inside the house under the excuse of recuperating, Ella is taking the Hour of the Kingdom's newspaper, and she is also the one who found out the information about outside. The most hot topic in the high society is of course about the saviors who defeated the evil Demon King. Among them, she is paying attention to the breakup of her and Ian. She guesses at this the same in every world that people like to talk about others. She calls out to Ella and questions what happened to her request. Ella responds that she sent the letters she mentioned but the recipient before Salonia mentions, "It is right, it is almost the time to receive alimony." She knows he will probably go crazy when he gets the letter because she asked for something so precious from him. She knows there is no better alimony than that. She is informed that a guild leader has come to visit. Salonia questions already. She mentions not even a day has passed yet. She ponders if it is her father's influence and knows information gathering is fast. She asks to invite him in. He provides her with the information she requested. He mentions this is the information that has been investigated, including the personal information of the person who requested it be people around him and his family. She thanks Jillian. He is a man who became the finest boweled leader at the tender age of 24. She knows since the information came from a competent person, it must be trustworthy. She knows information about Grace Bennett is in this envelope. As she reads it, she suddenly becomes shocked and questions, is this information true? He responds, it is true. She ponders just a single piece of paper containing all the information about Grace. She asks Galleon, was not there a misunderstanding in the original cost? What she requested was everything about Grace. He responds, it seems like that is all there is. She cites as she ponders, it seems like he does not know the word truth of everything, but she thought there might be clues with Grace. She knows this is the level of information that she can find out without relying on the guild. Jillian mentions the only noteworthy aspect is that she had interactions with 3 men during the 3 months after the victory ceremony. However, even though all of the meetings were initiated by the men towards her, Salonia ponders she has already seen all that information too. The first meetings between Grace and the 3 men were right after the victory ceremony. A person who had no connection or previous meetings with Grace happened to engage in a conversation by chance. On the last day they mentioned not leaving Grace's vicinity. During the period after the victory ceremony, and for the following few weeks, it seems that those individuals gradually fell for her. Jillian provides her with a list of participants in the victory ceremony. Emperor-Empress conference and even her father. She knows there does not seem to be anything special. She wonders if the cause is not Grace. She thinks perhaps it is just a change in their feelings towards her. She wondered, could it be that she started this just to satisfy her curiosity about someone else's life? She is really not sure anymore. She no longer knows what she's supposed to do. Ella calls out to her and questions how about a change of scenery or a little outing in the afternoon to lift her spirits. Salonia wonders, is it because she could not find out anything? She still cannot lift her mood. She did not expect to find out the whole truth at once. She finds it frustrating not to even catch a small clue. Ella questions, how about they go out for a bit, even just to the city center, because she heard Salonia likes cakes. Ella questions, how about she goes to Rawblam and treats herself to something delicious. Celerina questions something delicious. Ella agrees. She knows there is no time for idle speculation like this. She tells Ella that they should go. Ella responds that she will and gets ready. She ponders. It was stated that today is a fortunate day. As she approaches the store, she finds Revi standing outside. She ponders. Meeting someone who was guaranteed not to cross paths in private within a few days seems like a twist of fate. She guesses there is no choice but to face it. She asks him why is he here. He is unable to respond as she questions why is he making that expression as if it seems like he has seen someone who he should not have seen here. He asks her if she's here to buy a cake and she responds, "What about him?" She ponders. It is not like she is completely comfortable with something that feels off. She knows Ella would not normally behave like this. Rayev tells her that it might be better not to go into the store because it seems like there are many people around. He tells her all the desserts are to be sold today. She responds it sounds like a lie. He looks the other way. She ponders. When he is telling a lie, it is his habit not to make eye contact with her. She knows even in this situation, his determination remains. She remembers his words that he just wants to protect Lady Grace. He calls out to her before she realizes and mentions it seems like she is in the store. He flinches as she ponders. That is the correct answer. Grace is inside the store. Ella calls out to her and questions if she should pack it for her. Salonia ponders that it has only been a few days since that day when they used to greet each other with smiles and wishes for well-being. She responds to Ella that she will eat it before she goes. She wonders if she has just become an inconvenient presence to Ella during that time. She tells Ella to take care and goes inside the store. She wonders why she should avoid Grace. She thinks if the two of them cannot be together in the same place, then the one who should be avoided is not her. It is Grace who cheated on her with her fiancé. She really wishes to say Grace moving in person, but wonders why she is so nervous. As she opens the door, Grace comes out and mentions they meet in a place like this. She continues that she wanted to meet her and tells Salonia that it is nice to meet her. Salonia ponders, it is this woman, and she is more shameless than she thought. A new woman for the male protagonist, Grace Bennett. Flashback. Salonia runs to Ian as she questions if he is okay. She asks him if he is hurt anywhere, but he responds, "What about her if she's okay?" She tells him that she is fine because he protected her. She finds her a little thin and mentions once they return safely they should go to Roblank together and order a bunch of her favorite sweet desserts. She agrees to go. Back in the present, Grace mentions it seems like Salonia also came to buy desserts. Salonia ponders if she is just acting friendly just because she saw her. She wonders, does she want to brag that the man she is dating is her fiancé? She finds Grace more shameless than she had thought. Salonia asks her who is she. Grace is speechless. Salonia mentions, it looks like she knows her and questions. Wouldn't it be polite to introduce who she is first? Grace bows as she mentions the introduction is late. She introduces herself as Grace Bennett, daughter of Baron Bennett. She apologizes if she offended her. Grace mentions that since Salonia is the savior who defeated the Demon King, she guesses she mistakenly thought they knew each other without realizing it. Salonia thinks about Savior and realizes it was in the original novel as well. The four saviors will be together forever with trust and affection for each other. She ponders. She's alone now, though. Salonia questions that she did not become a savior just to pretend that everyone knew. Rayev intervenes and mentions that from what he hears it seems like Salonia is saying too much. He mentions that even if Lady Grace was rude, there is no reason to hear such words. Rayev has made an irritated expression as she ponders. Even he knows how to make that expression and thinks it is amazing how attitudes can change. Suddenly Iran comes in and questions why is Grace still here. She could not believe it when they came together. Ian finds Salonia as Salonia ponders if he brought Grace to Roblank, knowing better than anyone else that this is her favorite place, not just any other place. Grace hides beside Ian as he yells at Salonia. He asks her what is she doing. She responds, what does he mean she did nothing? Grace tells him it is a misunderstanding and she was so happy to see her that she pretended to know her. Ian tells Grace that she does not need to protect Salonia. He calls out to Salonia and mentions no matter what happens, please do not be rude to his fiancé. He wonders what reason she was looking for. Their relationship ended a long time ago and like a fool, she has lingering feelings about the past that she cannot go back to. She wonders if there's anything different from the original or has something different influenced their relationship. She knows she was the only one holding on to that. Ian hopes that they can stay out of sight for each other's sake. She understands now before she mentions it is him who needs to behave properly. She knows whatever the reason is, they are the ones who change and she did not do anything. She questions how dare he walk around here so shamelessly. And even if the face is thick, she questions can it be this thick? He yells at her before she mentions. She knew long ago that he was a person who had no shame. But there are a lot of eyes watching, so she questions why don't he at least pretend to be careful. He lives as he mentions. He was completely deceived this whole time and it was all a charade. She notices a dragon in the sky and wonders is it Megrian. She realizes it looks like they were waiting for Grace nearby. She decides to go ahead and pack it up before Salonia looks behind and mentions that the Duke and she are getting engaged soon. Salonia wonders if she wishes to show off. She questions, so what does Grace want to say? Grace responds that she should not be too upset because they are quite similar. Salonia is shocked as she leaves with Ian, Rayev and Megrian. They all act the same way as they used to with Salonia. She knows their main character is now Grace, and she admits it. Their relationship was so insignificant that everything has changed. She deep down thanks Grace as she's no longer in this relationship and she is no longer hangs on to Ian. Rayev is reading a newspaper which has the announcement of Ian's and Grace engagement. Megrian joins in as he questions he chose knowing it would turn out like this. Rayev responds that is right and their situations will be same even if the circumstances changes. The news of Ian and Grace's engagement spread quickly. Duke Ian Chervil announces engagement to the Lady Grace Bennett. Reyes ponders that he is aware that it means that the two people are in love, even though he knows everything that remains by his side is all him. He knows it is not different from Salonia's time. However, he cannot stop his feelings for Grace, to the point where he is unaware of how it all started because he had his heart stolen in an instant. He is getting used to not being able to get anything in return. He knows just looking at her he cannot help but be satisfied with just staying by her side. Megrian questions does he regret it now, abandoning his knight's vows in a heartbeat. He mentions if he were going to do that, why did he empty his heart? Rayev questions if Megrian means to say that he took his heart back from Salonia. Rayev questions why he gave it in the first place if he was going to get it back. He questions Megrian as being true to his true feelings now, right, and mentions that it is the same for him. Megrian states that he just did his best to save Salonia at that time. If it was not for that, she would be dead. Rayev questions he thought Megrian would protect her till the end and he did not know he would take it back again and questions so now Megrian does not care if Salonia gets hurt. Megrian becomes shocked and mentions he still likes Salonia. He suddenly wonders, what is this feeling? Before Grace calls out to him and tells him to come and eat dinner together. He leaves as Rayev ponders just now. It felt as if Megrian was confused. Rayev wonders what is he confused about, and finds himself also confused before Grace calls out to him. He finds her beautiful voice, her lovely smile and realizes the person he loves is Grace Bennett. Salonia ponders that the original work is over and whether it is a happy ending or a sad ending. In the novel, 1 month after the defeat of the demon, it ended after Seliena's and Ian's wedding. She knows it is already past the ending point of the original work now. In other words, the true owner of this life right now is her. Ella questions if she would like another cake and she asks for it. She suddenly hears some women talking about her. They gossip about her as Ella becomes angry and mentions, how dare they talk behind Mrs. back. She tells Ella to calm down and she is perfectly fine. She ponders as Grace protected the couple's engagement is announced and it was natural for the world's attention to be focused on her but she has already made up her mind that it is not easy to shake off her regrets but she does not want to waste this given life being swept away by useless emotions. She even finds enjoying delicious things feels like a waste of time. Ella questions when will she return to the treatment center. She responds she will definitely fulfill everything and return to work. Now all that is left to do is make herself comfortable. Ella mentions until then, she can do whatever she wants. Salonia decides to do everything she wants and there will absolutely be nothing to worry about. Elsewhere, a man is walking by in hidden clothing. A maid mentions that Lady Selena seems like a different person these days. Another maid questions, did she feel it too? It feels like she is completely reborn. She rarely gets angry or gets on her nerves. One maid wonders why did she suddenly change. When she thinks about it, she thinks it started after the formation of the Demon King suppression team. The other maid questions, could it be something like that? Going to defeat the devil means risking her life. Moreover, she was unconscious for 3 months after the subjugation was over. They say that sometimes when a person dies and comes back to life, they turn into someone else. One mentions it might be because she has been down for so long. Salonia is listening to their conversation as she ponders it seems like they're talking about the previous Selena. She wonders if the previous Selena was like that in the original novel. She knows this is a conversation that needs to be taken into account. A woman thanks Selena for joining the seating offer. She is so glad that Selena is feeling well. She mentions that her beauty shines brighter as the days go by. Selena drinks her tea as she ponders everyone's expressions are so weird it looks like they're uncomfortable. She thinks about the story she overheard a few days ago and seems like the previous Selena had the same personality before she possessed her. She knows, but she is the one who will live as Selena from now on. At this point, she needs to build up her image properly. She mentions that she is thankful to the young ladies for joining her. She mentions, as they all know, it has been a long time since she left the social world and there is no lady to interact with. Lady Abel mentions that it might be rude, but actually she heard that today is the engagement of Duke Chervil and Lady Bennett. She mentions that it looks like she is feeling very upset, which causes her to be worried. Selena responds that she is fine. Lady Abel mentions that she is glad that Selena is okay, but questions how come there are people like that. She mentions that Glace is someone who slapped her tail at someone who has a fiancé. They mention that Baron Bennett is a family that does not know decency. They find it a shame for nobility. Selena mentions it is the same thing for both a man who cheated and a woman who meets such a man. Lady Serde states that was the princess just his fiancé. Moreover, she had collapsed at that time. They look at a man and wonder, who is he? He is a beast of the night. Selena wonders it's a somewhat familiar face. She is sure that they met before and finds it strange. It is a romance novel because it is about the world. If the character has a significant character, his or her unique appearance is characteristic, and the main characters have a noble appearance. But she cannot believe that someone she has never seen before has such sculptural beauty. Plus, it is a beast of the night. She knows there is no way an ordinary extra would have this nickname. It is a nickname that goes well with his appearance. He does not look like he likes sweet things. She wonders, is it because he is famous? Because he is a righteous person? She thinks about this uneasy premonition she is getting. She has a strange feeling that she should not let that person go like this. She gets a glimpse of his chest which has a scar on it. She ponders. She just saw that on his chest, and it is not an ordinary wound. This worldview would be a peaceful and safe place except for the devil. She knows there is no way such a dangerous wound could occur. She stares at him deeply as she wonders who he is. Ella mentions that she does not think she has seen a wound from the night beast. She states that there is a rumor surrounding the night beast that it goes around subduing dangerous beasts and criminals. Ella questions, could that be the wound? Selena thinks it did not look like that kind of wound though. She wonders, is that really all there is? Ella questions how was her day since it seemed like she met some nice people. She questions if Selena had a change of mood. She knows it was definitely a change of mood even though it was her first time outing in a long time. The nobles' women's were just looking at each other for a while, but soon they became friends and talked endlessly, and they promised to invite her to the Viscount's mansion for the night tea time. Ella mentions just in time for friends to visit. She needs to decorate the garden nicely in time for Selena's friends' visit. Selena mentions that the funds are also being managed well. She thinks about the word friend and realizes after being possessed she was always with her saviors, so the fence of friends had to be narrow. Only after she got away from those she thought of as her everything, her world finally seems to have widened. It feels like starting over from scratch, but she knows this life is not bad either. Ella mentions that she has been curious for a while and questions, what does the devil look like? She mentions there are many rumors about it and she heard the only people who saw the devils were the saviors. She questions, since he is the leader of monsters, he must look like monsters, right? Selena ponders the appearance of the devil is black scales covered all over the body, a huge body that seems to be well over 3 meters, and what one see between the two is not something that can be called a human or an animal, as well as creepy red eyes. Selena mentions it was terrible. Ella questions, isn't that right? In Fark, she heard someone talking at the dessert shop earlier about how the Demon King had incredible beauty. Ella questions if that means he can charm with his good looks or something. Selena wonders if it is okay to leave this misunderstanding like this. Anyway, she knows she is the only one who saw the devil's true form. Suddenly the carriage starts to shake as Selena wonders what is going on. Cohen apologizes as he mentions he was trying to cross the forest. She knows suddenly these guys are flocking. She knows it seems like hungry monsters have followed suit after hearing the rumor. Selena asks Cohen if he is okay, and can he get through it. He mentions that the horses are scared and won't move. She knows it is more dangerous if they stop like that. She ponders it is good that she at least brought a sword. She knew a few of them would be worth the effort, but there are so many of them. Cohen is filled with anxiety as he apologizes to Selena and mentions he is going to try to stop a couple of them, and in the meantime they too can drive the carriage and leave. Selena interrupts him and tells him to stop since she is not going to leave him behind. Selena questions if he thinks he can run if he kicks off the ones in front of him. He responds it would be possible as she places her hand on the carriage's door handle and mentions she will pave the way with the power of healing and they will take advantage of that gap and move quickly. She ponders she cannot hurt Ella or Cohen either and they need to do something. Ella trembles as she tells Siona to not go since there are too many monsters outside. She tells Ella to not come out and wait inside as she steps out of the carriage. The monsters approaches her as she ponders a healing light can create a momentary gap and if they give a signal in the meantime, they can run away as she uses her magic and shouts for Cohen to hurry up and move the carriage. She suddenly wonders before she knew it, one of them approaches her as she thinks was the light too weak. She knows she needs to move as one of monster launches at her before a man uses her magic and scares all of them away. Selena ponders that her body does not move. She wonders what was the black light just now. And was it magic? She wonders if someone is coming to save her. She hears footsteps as the man approaches her. She wonders who the hell is it before realizing it's the Beast Knight. She sees his face and remembers him. She sensed a strange sense of déjà vu the moment she saw him at the cafe, but she did not notice because she could not see him from up close. She calls out to him and mentions he should have been deaf. He looks down at her as he questions how does she know him. She ponders how she could forget him, the man she killed from her own hands.